We're talking to Will Ferrell, who's going to star on Broadway in Will Ferrell's You're Welcome, America, A Final Night with George W. Bush. Is it a bittersweet final night? I mean, obviously you feel, I believe, that George Bush is better for the country, but he's great for comedy, and I guess in some ways he's great for your career. So what's going to go through your head on January 20th?
You know what? It's first of all, the first thing that'll go through my mind on January 20th is, can I do this for 8 weeks? So hopefully I don't walk off the stage in fear. But no, you know what? I always, this is actually a last-second idea in a weird way. I had pretty much closed the book on doing George Bush, and one of the people I work with, one of my managers suggested, why don't you do a one-man show where you kind of could sum them all up? And I was like, that was brilliant. So this is really kind of like a gift that I hadn't even thought of in a way. So yeah, I guess comedically it is a little bittersweet, but it's going to be a great way to go out.
What is it that you want to leave as George Bush's legacy via Will Ferrell to the public?
Well, first and foremost, we just wanted, I just tried to write the funniest show possible. I do want to kind of, within that comedy, let it sneak up on you about, whoa, we actually lived through a lot of this stuff. And because that's some of the comments we've heard, like, oh, I forgot that happened, and I forgot that happened, and I forgot that happened. So I think we need to be reminded that these last 8 years, a lot of stuff went down. At the same time, we want to kind of change it up with the audience, and I think we have some genuinely poignant moments that are going to be great change-ups. So it's going to be a mix of satire and where you actually, in a weird way, feel for him as a person.
And do you personally feel for him as a person?
You know what? I do in a way. I mean, I think anyone who takes on the office of president is responsible for their actions. That having been said, yeah, he's a human being, and I think he was probably influenced by some of his surrounding people, and some of the decisions. So yeah, I do feel for him in a way.
If you weren't on Broadway on January 20th, would you try to be at Barack Obama's inauguration?
I would be thrilled to be there. Yeah. I'd probably be doing George Bush there at the inauguration. Yeah.
Well, we get to see it in New York, so lucky us, and too bad for D.C.
Yeah, screw D.C. New York's the place to be.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you. So we're talking to Adam McKay, who is the director and co-creator of Will Ferrell's You're Welcome, America, A Final Night with George W. Bush. Now, you've worked with Will for many, many years in a variety of mediums, from Saturday Night Live to all the movies you've worked on together, Anchorman and Talladega Nights. Can you in some way talk about your chemistry, what makes you two a team?
Honestly, I wish I could say there was some sort of bond, there was some sort of, electricity between us, but I started working with him. I did Anchorman. At the end of it, he was like, I don't hate you. I was like, I don't hate you either. I was like, well, I'd like to keep getting paid. He's like, I'd like to keep having you do it. And that's all it's been. It's been a payday. And we don't speak at all outside of work. There's no chemistry or connection whatsoever. It's purely clocking in. I honestly never even saw Talladega Nights. I shot the thing and I was like, I'm done. And I've yet to see it. I hope it turned out all right. But no, Will's great. We have a blast working together. And, we write together. We, end up, he almost co-directs with me in a sense, and we're always sort of working together, and it's a blast. So when I heard he was doing this, when he told me, I was like, oh my God, I'm there in a heartbeat.
But who has the final say? If there is a disagreement on this project, who wins?
Ultimately, I gotta say, Will's pretty collaborative guy. He will let you have it. If you both of us sort of play the game of whoever is firm enough to go, I really want it this way, then you go, okay. If you're that confident, you can have it. So honestly, in 10 years of collaborating, I don't think we've ever had any big arguments over stuff. The first person who wants to yell gets it right away. It's kind of the way we feel. I'm too tired to yell.